Hey, what's up, friends? This is Jordan. I'm going to do my best to show you how to make a data set real quick and how to enter data into that data set. So we're going to move along pretty quick. So if you got any questions, you can email them to me. I'll try to do my best to answer. Okay, so your SPSS is open and you want to make a new data set like the one we're looking at here, which is the one I emailed you. You're going to go to File, New, Data, and that should pop up a new blank data set. We can see up here, untitled dataset 6. Okay, so you have two ways to look at this. You have variable view, these are here at the bottom, variable view and data view. When you're building it initially, you're going to be looking at the variable view. Data is where you'll enter in the data into these variables that you'll create along the top here. Okay, so we go to variable view. We're going to name our first variable, so you go to the name on the first blank here, and you can name it, let's name it test 1.1. Okay, so we're going to pretend that this is a numeric question that has an answer set that can be dummy coded or a Likert scale, or it actually is a number. So this is where you would enter that in. So click on type and hit this little button here, and your variable type comes up, and you can use all of these, and this writes the code for you into your variable, but really probably the ones you're going to use the most are string and numeric. So keep it on numeric for this. Don't mess with the widths or the decimals, and then label it. So this is another way that you can keep track of your variables. So for the one that I sent you, I labeled it by page number and by survey number. So it would be survey 1, page 1, or it could be, survey 2, page 4, however you want to do it there in the label. So for this, we'll just put T 1.1. Now, the most important thing on creating a variable is setting your values. So you want to go here to this button with the 3 dots on it, hit that. Your values labels comes up here, and let's say for test 1 here, for this imaginary variable we created, it's a question that asks the person to give an answer of strongly disagree all the way to strongly agree. So we'll have 5 answers. So for making a code for this is what you hear when you say dummy coding or coding. You create whatever numbers you want to do. Let's just use the beginning of numbers, which is easy. So we'll have 1, and we'll say that is, now you could look at your surveys to see what order they put it in, like on the one that we used, but for this one we're just going to say that 1 is strongly agree. So you would type strong, or whatever you want to fill in here. You can type strong agree, you can abbreviate it, you can keep it lowercase, however you want to do it. I like to keep things lowercase, and because code requires that you use these, I just am in a habit of using these. But then you click add. So now the answer 1, or the data that you put in 1 into this variable, equals strongly agree. And so for each question answer we would put a value. So 2 would be just agree, and then you click add. 3, neutral, or neither agree or disagree, add. 4, disagree, and 5, strong disagree. Okay, and that's how you set values to your variable. So this changes, but depending on what the question or survey is. So it's never always the same, but it's kind of always the same because you can always enter them in like this. Now if you want to change these later, click OK, and you can come back to it, and you can hit this button again, and you can click on these, and you can remove them or edit them and then add them again. Okay, so that's how you create a variable. So this would be the first question on this test survey that we're making up here. So let's say there was 10 questions. No, let's just say there's 5 questions. So question 2, I would just call it maybe T2, it would stay numeric. We wouldn't mess with this. You could label it different if you want. T1, 2, or excuse me, 1, 1, because it's the first survey and the first page. So to keep consistent, we would just keep it 1, 1. But you can name it whatever you want when you're making your data sets. And then the values. So again, this would be the same survey questions, so they would be the same. So you can either enter them in again, which takes a while, or you can copy and paste. So you go up here, you highlight, you highlight this value here, and you copy, and then you can paste it here. So you can copy this one and paste it to your value. That way it's the same. So if you set 10 questions, instead of having to enter in each value, you can copy and paste. Okay, and that is how you create the shell, such as the ones that I just emailed you. So you can play with those first data sets I emailed you. You can put those into a blank data set and just kind of play around with, adjusting the values and finding ways to name it. And then we're going to make another video here in a second that will show how to input data. So anyway, that's the basics of how to build variables.